Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast. And where were you when a magic ice cream cone and Christian Bethancourt saved the Cubs season in 2024? Welcome to the wildest postgame show we've maybe ever done. 14-10, Cubs beat the Pirates, sweep the Pirates, down to their final out in the ninth inning, once down 7 runs in the seventh inning. They then go on to score 11 runs in the final 3 innings of the game, including 6 in the ninth, and we had to change the entire game plan for the postgame show.
It wasn't looking very good there.
Where were you when Christian Bethancourt and a cookies and cheesecake cream ice cream cone from Cone and Cody Delmendo saved the season?
What was the original second block? Your favorite ballparks?
Yeah, what are your favorite ballparks in baseball?
Legitimately, we did not know what we were going to talk about. Legitimately, for 8 innings, we had no idea. So if you aren't on Twitter, the ice cream cone thing is I tweeted, I'm going to get ice cream, and then as that I tweeted that and I went to go get ice cream, the next inning the Cubs scored 3 runs. And then they finished the comeback in the 9th inning. So that's that if you're not on Twitter. But
keep in mind, since Cody has declared the season over, the Cubs
are undefeated.
Yeah.
3-0.
Since Cody ate that ice cream cone, the Cubs cannot stop hitting.
You're right.
Since Cody declared the season over, Cubs catchers drove in 13 of the 41 runs in the last 3 games.
Listen, if this is all I had to do to get this team to play to somewhat of their potential, I would have done this months ago. I might say the season's over on opening day next year. Okay, I don't know. That was. It's hard to say it's better than the Tauchman walk off against the Cardinals. At the end of July.
The catch, yeah.
What? No, like this year.
This year, yeah, that was great too.
They were at Wrigley. They were down 5-2 entering the 9th inning, and they made a huge comeback. They ripped his shirt off, and that was against a rival. It's hard to say that it's better than that game, but
this was more unlikely.
This just reminds me of that game, that wild one against the Braves back in like 2019, when the weather was terrible. Javi Baez hits a ground ball up the middle to give them the lead or whatever in like the 8th or 9th inning. It was like, and they trailed a ton early in that game too. I think people remember that one because the weather was just so bad. It was an April game, I believe. That's what this game kind of reminds me of. But as far as like best wins of the season, I mean, this one certainly ranks up there. This was fun. As much as, we've been down because of what this team has been all season and all this and that. For one day, this was fun. Like we would have came in here and said, "Oh, you won the series, but at this point you need sweeps," and well, they got the sweep. It was not the route I would have chosen to take to get the sweep, but it happened. And you get to take this momentum into an off day tomorrow before you go to D.C.
Matt McIntyre with the super chat, $1.99. What if I told you the season's not over?
I mean, Luke, you keep pointing out their playoff odds. Like you've been Mr. Positive.
Okay, so last night after I got home, I looked it up. They went from 2.6 up to 3.2%.
Oh yeah.
Now up to 3.5% chance of making a playoff. So we're saying there's a chance, or somebody is.
No,
the Hopers.
We're
getting ready for the big beer bat here.
Like you said, this was
just poured on myself.
Easily the most unexpected
comeback,
considering they were down 7. Just the momentum completely, because like they got runs off Skeens, and like that's hard. We saw them not even get a hit off Skeens earlier in the year. Managed to get 3 off Skeens, right?
Yeah.
And then the momentum
3 in 2
obviously
innings.
completely flipped the other way where they were down 7. And then 2 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, and then put up 6 in the 9th. Like it was
talking about Shohei Paltani, as ESPN called him today. By the way, I don't know the Skeens characters. Shohei Paltani. That is what ESPN wrote an article and put on the headline today.
I don't get it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it later. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I don't get that. Like I get what they're trying to say, but it's just a weird mix. Anyway, the momentum completely flipped, and I think we said it when we were on the couch. Like if this is May or June, either the Cubs lose 10-3 or they lose 10-9. They give that fake rally and then come up just short. This has been a different team this month. We know that, especially the last few weeks. It's just been a different team. That offense came out and managed to put up a bunch of runs. I know David Bednar hasn't been himself, or like David Bednar we've known that Pittsburgh had the last couple of years this season.
Good thing we didn't trade for him.
But still, like a guy that he's the closer, right? Yeah. He comes in and you feel like, especially with that lead, the Pirates probably have it on lock, and then the Cubs come back and just. No, there were no extra base hits in that inning. It was single after walk after intentional walk after single, and then Christian Bethancourt, who we've talked about Miguel Amaya as hot as he's been. Christian Bethancourt has a 265 WRC plus in his 29 plate appearances with the Cubs. He's been really good at hitting with the Cubs, considering when you look at his stats with Miami.
7 RBIs.
7 RBIs.
This might be bigger than the Esteban Quiroz game.
The 6th Cubs catcher with 7 RBIs in a game since 1901. But yeah, he comes up with a big hit, 2 outs, like you said, Luke. And then they added on more to give whoever was going to come in the 9th some breathing room. And like we've talked about the last 2 games, like the offense has been better overall. Like 1 through 9 feels like the lineup is just healthier. It feels longer. It feels like not everyone's an easy out anymore. And you saw that in the last 3 innings where they just continue to put good at-bats together, score some runs, get some hits, and put pressure on the back end of the Pirates bullpen, and you see what happens. You see what happened today is again, the most unexpected comeback I would have imagined we'd see today. I know you may not have been the happiest because of how long the game took.
It was the best 4-hour, 7-run comeback that I didn't want of my life.
But yeah, no, it was like just watching it go down. You still kind of expected them to not pull it all the way, pull all the way back in because it's a 7-run lead in the 7th inning. It's hard to do. But credit to the Cubs today, they got it done and got a win and pulled off a sweep. Their 4th sweep of the year of a 3-game series or more.
That's hard to believe.
Obviously, they swept the Sox twice, but it was a 2-game series. 4 sweeps of 3 games or more. Good series, and obviously a really good end of that game there to come back and win that game.
All right.
Before Cody does the Blue Moon Beer Bat Chug, I do want to ask, so if you have the Sandberg game as the all-time game of one player, right? Where do the other ones fall in place, the unlikely ones? Where do you put the Esteban Quiroz game? Where do you put the Christian Bethancourt game? Where do you put the David Bodie walk-off game?
The John Baker game?
John Baker. I don't remember the facts of it, but I do remember interviewing Bobby Scales after a walk-off. Where do you remember the Bobby Scales game?
I remember the Bobby Scales game. Was that 08, 09 maybe?
Yeah, probably somewhere.
Brady says the Bryant game. I'm assuming he's talking about the 3-homer, 2-double game against the Reds.
No. These have to be fringe Cubs players
these
that
have
you
to be
barely
Cubs
remember.
legends. Okay,
then in a couple years, you just can't remember the guy's name. Where were you for the Bethancourt?
Okay.
I mean, we also got to think about Bethancourt. Is it the 2-run home run that started the comeback?
Yeah.
They're down 10-3, and then it's a 2-run home run to make it a 10-5.
431 feet.
Yeah, it's the Christian Bethancourt game.
All right, we'll get to the Super Chat after Cody's Blue Moon Beer Bat Chug, which, of course, is brought to you by our friends at Blue Moon.
Yes.
Cody puts it in the beer bat. If he does it in 10.25 seconds, that's considered a quality chug by the official stats holders. Joey will have the official counter there. Go ahead and put your predictions in the live YouTube chat, which is the best way to enjoy the CHGO experience. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports page while you're there and give us a thumbs up. If you happen to be at home and you got a Blue Moon and a beer bat, go ahead and tape a video yourself doing a chug. See if you can beat Cody.
Yeah.
All right, without further ado, here's the dedication.
I mean, do we have to give it to Christian Bethancourt, right?
Yeah, it's his game.
It's his game.
Yeah.
It's the Christian Bethancourt game. I'm gonna have to start tweeting just actual pictures of Christian Bethancourt at this point instead of pictures of Barry Bonds whenever I tell my unborn kids one day who Christian Bethancourt was. If he's just going to do this for the next however many years, maybe just week, who knows? I don't know. Like
you don't have a problem at catcher anymore.
Who said this team had a catcher problem? I don't know.
Number one problem this offseason, catcher problem.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, hell of a game, and I can't explain it, what Christian Bethancourt is doing. I didn't even know the Cubs had him or had even signed him until he showed up on the roster one day and was in the lineup. That's how much I paid attention to Christian Bethancourt. So credit to him. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, we got a 10.6 prediction, a 10-11, a 10, an 11-3, a 9-8. Tanya, 9-8. Okay, Cody, you ready?
Yeah.
When the beer touches his lips, Joey, that's when it begins. And begin. Here we go. Cody Delmendo. This is 2 days in a row. He's done the beer bat chug after a long layoff. He's back, and he's throwing in 2 straight games. Throwing back the blue moon. Boom. 9-4-4. What was the prediction from Tanya? She almost nailed it. That might be one of his. Is that his fastest ever?
9-6.
I think I had an 8-second one.
Tanya called 9-6. It was a 9-4-4.
It's quality chug.
9-4-4. That's almost like saying you ran the 40 in 4 flat.
That was a quality chug.
That is a quality chug. Well done.
Oh, we have 321 people watching live right now, and I feel like that's the biggest crowd we've had in quite a while.
Yeah.
Y'all deserve that one. So credit to me.
That's having ice in your vein. That's like coming out to the ninth inning to close out a World Series game.
That's like being Porter Hodge right there. That's Porter Hodge today.
That's like me being Christian Bethancourt in the ninth inning.
That's right. Oh, no, it's like being Dansby Swanson down to the last out.
It's true.
Yeah, true. Put the ball in play. Ran it out. Hustle.
And then Bethancourt down to the last out.
Yeah. I do want to mention, and I said this when we were on the couch, that, like, as you said, Cody, like, Christian Bethancourt's been around for a little bit. He made his debut in 2013 with the Braves. He only had one really good, for at least for catchers and whatever. He had a 99 WRC plus in 2022, but like everything else is just not offensively.
And how many games? And how many?
That was in 101 games.
Oh,
so he's not been known for being a great hitter or anything like that. And I think that's kind of why he played in Korea back in 2019. Like he's kind of bounced around a little bit. Even earlier this year with Miami, in 38 games, he had a 26 WRC plus. So when I say 265 WRC plus of the Cubs, it's obviously an incredibly small sample size. Like he's playing once every 3 games, if not less than that, right? Because with Amaya being the starting catcher and hitting the way he is. But when you have your backup catcher who you can plug into that 9-hole and just do what he's been able to do with the Cubs. Again, it's a small sample size. I don't expect him to hit this well forever. But to be able to do that as the backup catcher, coming up to a new team for the first time, not only having to learn the pitching staff and the bullpen, the starters, how they all tick, but to be hitting the way he has with the Cubs, that's you could not ask for anything more than that.
Yeah. Here's an important comment to read. Ray Gross says, "Great job, Luke. Go Cubs, Buzz."
What
See, there you go. Well, I'm just here. That's what it is. I'm just here.
I honestly thought you were about to say Gary Ross, but you said Ray Gross instead.
It says Ray Gross. Gary has dumped us.
Yeah, Gary did
our
dump
buddy
us.
Gary in the live YouTube chat has dumped us for Bears chats. He's got no interest in Cubs baseball.
No interest in us.
Where were you when Gary quit the Cubs?
Yeah. Whenever he inevitably comes back, we have to give him a ton of crap. That's just the fact.
I will admit, we do a Cubs podcast 4 or 5 days a week, right?
Yeah.
If you were to quiz me right now on Christian Bethancourt's background, information about Christian Bethancourt, I would go 0 for 10 on the questions. I would have almost no information for you. Okay, he played for the Braves? Good. Where's he from? How old is he? Mm-hmm. He's over 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
Does he wear glasses?
Yes. Hold on. He is.
I only know that because I just saw him wearing glasses. Otherwise, I did not know that.
He is 32 years old.
32.
Going to be 33 in like less than a week.
And how many teams has he been on?
This
Major league
teams. This is 1, 2. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 6th major league team. 6th major league team. Again, he made his debut in 2013. Like he's bounced around for a while.
The Christian Bethancourt game. Where were you? Where were you when Cody's ice cream cone saved the season? We'll talk about it more in a second. But first, Shop summertime savings going on now at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram and save on the perfect new vehicle for you. This August, score new lower prices across their huge inventory during the Make This the Summer event. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 36 months on most of their new 2024 Jeep models, or shop more than 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. How about that? Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you during each step of your car shopping journey. With Ray's Price Promise, the numbers you're hearing on the podcast are the same prices you can expect to shop in-store and online. That's because Ray's Price Promise means no price changing, no add-ons, and no hidden fees. And since they prioritize affordability for their customers, hurry into Ray CDJR today and shop one of the Chicago area's largest inventories, then drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, because they're the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
Some beers say, or some beers can say, they're brewed for baseball, but only Blue Moon is brewed by baseball. Beer and baseball just go together, and no beer goes better than the one that was literally born in a ballpark. Blue Moon was created at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. It's the natural choice for opening day and all season long. Coors Field, one of my favorite parks around the league. I love drinking a ice cold Blue Moon there. At anywhere else, truly, I love Blue Moon. I just did a Blue Moon beer bat, right? It's from its refreshing flavor with the Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander. Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale is one of a kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full flavored with refreshing notes with a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia to get you excited for the new season. It's not just another beer; it's a whole different experience. Big of me to chug them sometimes, but they are more fun personally to just enjoy and just drink, casually with chilled you guys, chilled in a glass. Or I always say that I love drinking them at B-dubs. Just with all the TVs, with all the sports, there's just nothing better watching sports than with a Blue Moon. So why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one of a kind? It's bold flavor, bright explosion of color, and iconic orange slice. Ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience, perfect for spring weather, fall weather, summer weather, any weather, in my personal opinion. Best served with the signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color. Bring the ballpark to you with Blue Moon Belgian style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO to see your delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/CHGO. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
One of a kind every time. All
just
right.
Like Christian Bethancourt.
Christian Bethancourt, just the catchers. First of all, 44 hits for the Cubs in this series against the Pirates. Maybe the Pirates have mailed it in. That is possible, but it doesn't matter. Paul Skeens, Superman, started this game. Their super rookie, maybe the most hyped rookie pitcher since Strasburg. You think that probably most hyped guy since Strasburg?
Who's Skeens?
It's up there. Skeens, probably. That's probably the guy.
Skeens?
The Cubs got 3 runs off him in the first 2 innings, and if you would have told me it was going to end up 14-10 with a huge comeback after that, I would have laughed at you. But if you would have told me going into the series, after Cody had declared the season over, which I did 2 months ago, if you would have told me that Cubs catchers would go 9 for 14 in the series with 13 RBI, I would have said, sell me some. I've got some land for you in Florida that I'm going to sell you, and it might be a little bit wet, but it's okay. The foundation will be okay on the house. Wow.
Yeah.
13 RBI and 9 hits from Cubs catchers.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it coming.
Again, we talked about that with Amaya the other day. Like, for most of the season, the Cubs catcher just didn't give anything offensively, whether it was Amaya the first 3 or so months of the season, Yan Gomes, obviously, before he was DFA'd, and even Tomas Nido. I don't know his stats off the top of my head, but I don't think he was like he wasn't providing a whole lot, even if it was like closer to league average, which he might have been. I don't remember exactly, but regardless, like the catching position, especially offensively and even defensively, just wasn't producing for the Cubs. And now you're getting Amaya doing what he's doing. You're getting Christian Bethancourt doing what he's doing. You said it, 13 RBIs in this series. Like, out of the 9 spot, the number 9 spot in your order, and they're doing that.
What was PCA, the bottom of the order? Almost had 5 hits, right? First 4-hit game for PCA?
First 4-hit game was 4 for 4.
And they intentionally walked him,
to get to Christian Bethancourt.
So he
4
hits
and a walk. He was on base 5 times.
Yeah. He could have gone 5 for 5 today if they decided to pitch to him, but they decided to walk him to get to Christian Bethancourt.
Well, how about the decision from council? I guess it's a no-brainer because it's an early day game after a night game. Mm-hmm. But that said, how do you bench a guy that's
red hot,
6 for 9 with 6 RBI, and you want it to keep rolling for him because he's had a really rough season? You sit Amaya. I mean, you could have done anything with him. You could have made him your DH for the game if you wanted to.
I think regardless, it's like because of the demands of the catching position.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they've
done.
done.
But he could have DH'd, right? You could have said, "Oh, sure, man, keep the bat going."
But I think you give him the day off because of the demands of the catching position. And going back to Christian Bethancourt, I think the way he swung the bat, because obviously it's like 1 game out of 3 or maybe 4. Like, you were like, okay, you're hitting 9th. Go out there. I think you talk to some of the pitchers and they feel comfortable with Bethancourt back there too, behind the plate. So that helps him, and is just as far as like you're sort of comfortable, taking Amaya's hot bat out of the lineup. But the way he swung the bat also provides some comfort. It's like, okay, like 1 game, obviously we still want to win this game, but we do need to get Amaya some rest. Let's put Christian Bethancourt out there. Because we're comfortable with what he provides on both sides of the ball right now, and obviously that's what you saw.
But it wouldn't have been crazy to play Amaya again.
No,
it wouldn't have been crazy. You picked him for who you got. Good thing I picked Bethancourt again.
You didn't pick anyone. You haven't picked anyone in a month. No,
Joey heard me.
It wouldn't have been crazy to play Amaya again. I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is just that's how Craig Counsell's operated with his catchers this season. I think he's going to continue to operate that way with his catchers this season. But having Bethancourt swinging the way he is, that provides the comfort that you can keep operating in that way, is what I'm trying to say.
Joey, do you have the graphic that Ryan put in Slack of the Cubs' odds of winning this game put on a scale? It looks like a terrific day on the stock market. If you're selling at the end of the day. That's what it looks like.
This is from the great Sarah Langs.
Yeah.
Do we have an update on Sarah Lang's health? How's she doing?
I don't have an update on her health. I haven't seen her.
I know she was getting treatment. Hopefully she's doing well, right?
Yeah. Well,
but
she was obviously enjoying the graph here.
That probability, though.
Check it out on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to this on the podcast form, go check out the YouTube channel.
I wonder what the most likely odds of winning were for the Pirates at that point when it was 10-3. Probably. Or maybe
it had to be 99%.
I wonder
what if you would have live bet the Cubs in the 8th inning?
What if you had live bet the Cubs when they're down 10-3, brother?
What a day this could have been. If we would have live bet the Cubs in the 8th inning. What a mistake. What a missed opportunity.
It's such a missed opportunity. Even if it was just a few bucks.
Some will say that what saved the season was Bethancourt. Some will say it was Cody calling quits on the season. I will say ice cream can always save a day, so it can certainly save a season.
Yeah.
What made you go with the Oreo cheesecake at Cone?
Because I sampled that one, and before that one, I sampled Cookie Monster.
Oh, Cookie Monster, solid.
And it was blue. Yeah.
You're like, I don't want blue teeth on the air, especially when they're going to lose to the Pirates. I don't want to have blue teeth and look like an idiot.
Honestly, I was thinking a little bit of that, to be honest with you. But yeah, nice little stroll to Cone. I was really throwing it back to 2022.
Yeah.
When the season was over and we were just trying to get through the rest of the year with games. I mean, it was 10-5, I think, whenever I went. So I was just like, and it was like the 7th inning. I felt like they needed more runs. And I was like, I'm going to get ice cream. This game's over.
But
it ignited something.
I'm on day 2 of quitting sweets. So Cody going and getting an ice cream cone It'd be like him being in a gambler's meeting and me sending him tweets of all the wages I just made that night. Wagers I made that night, right?
Fair.
Like, oh, the money line on this, Cody. The money line on this.
What'd you say yesterday? Something about a brownie or a chocolate
I was
cookie?
just fantasizing about it.
About a brownie, right?
All game long, I was thinking about ice cream. Like, I could go get an ice cream cone. I probably should go get one too.
So I just want some people in the YouTube chat to just kind of understand, like, I don't think any of us here are sitting here and saying that Christian Bethancourt needs to be here automatically next year.
No.
We're just enjoying the win.
Enjoy the
Just
moment.
based off some of the comments, it's like, yes, we understand he's older. He's 31, 32. Moises Ballesteros is in AAA. He's 20 years old. We're still trying to figure out if he's going to be the catcher of the future. All of that. At the same time, though, like, depending on how Bethancourt finishes the season, you know, like, it's not like you're giving him like a 5-year deal if you were to bring him back. I don't mind the Cubs having 3 catchers. The year they won the World Series, they had 3 catchers. The problem is this team, with all the guys on it already and all the outfielders they have, makes it hard to have 3 catchers. So I doubt that Bethancourt will be back next year, especially if Amaya continues to play well. And I think they're going to be on the trade market anyway for maybe a younger catcher next year. Anyway, so it's not anything to like get worried about if you're a fan about Bethancourt being here and it being a mistake. And some people using Yan Gomes as an example, and I'm like, did you guys forget last year about Yan Gomes? Yan Gomes was awesome for the Cubs last year. I know this year he wasn't good, but
if it could have been a part-time role with Amaya, like if he would have even got close to what it was, it should have been a better half and half split or whatever between the two.
I think the answer will be, the question to catcher will be answered based off how they feel about Ballesteros as a catcher defensively. I think they believe that he can hit. I think we all believe he can hit, but I don't know if he can play catcher at the major league level.
And I don't know if they know that.
And I feel like the Cubs don't believe that or don't know that either. And so it's either, okay, are you going to try and re-engage with the Angels again for Logan O'Hoppe again, or is it somewhere else? Is it Danny Jansen who's going to be a free agent who's 29 years old?
Well, that's going to tell you how they, and then obviously this last month is going to tell you, what or Miguel Amaya is going to tell you what you should think about him. I'm not like 2 months wouldn't make a great whatever. The sample size is still small.
Right. I don't know how much value you can.
Yeah.
How much value will they put in? Let's say he finishes with 2 good months at the end of the season.
Here's the thing. I don't like
Autumn Amaya. I don't know. I don't know what that's worth.
The thing is, I feel like the Cubs are that the catcher's position is going to be an area where they know they have to do some work in during the offseason. Whether that is, going and trading for a Logan O'Hoppe, somehow trying to get him out of Anaheim, or signing someone like Danny Jansen to be more of a platoon splitter or a part-time split.
I feel like no matter what they're going to do, Amaya is still going to be like the 50-50 guy with them. They're not going to have a guy who's going to play every single game.
I don't think regardless of what Amaya does over the next month, it can be a Amaya Christian Bethancourt type split next season. Like I think you have to upgrade at catcher somehow, whether that is just someone that splits, half and half time with Amaya, or it's someone that pushes Amaya to more of a backup role. Like you have to. I think the Cubs still are going to have to look at upgrading at the catcher position, just because you went so long where you weren't getting the production from there. You can't necessarily count on Miguel Amaya to keep that up for another season, plus Moises Ballesteros to come up and be able to catch at the big league level. Like you can't necessarily count on that next year. So it is a position where it feels like they do have to, upgrade.
The only way you're starting the season with 3 catchers is if Ballesteros is your quote unquote third catcher, but he's also a guy that you can put at DH or somewhere else. I don't love the idea of Ballesteros and Amaya. It's just slightly interesting. Let's say they trade for the guy from the Angels or Jansen. Like, could you? Well, I don't know. Like, could you take advantage of selling high on Amaya? They've got to make bold moves.
Yeah.
If you had to trade Amaya, but now Bethancourt is your
veteran.
Ballesteros is your
young
part-time split guy, because he can play somewhere else when he's not catching.
Yeah. Also, by the way, I did say I couldn't remember Tomas Nidos' stats off the top of my head. He was at a -1 WRC plus.
Was there a Tomas?
It was a lot.
There was a Nido game this year, wasn't there?
No.
No, there may have been. It was a lot lower than I thought.
So,
it was.
yeah. So I'll just end with this because we have to do these ads. But I feel like they're definitely going to want a veteran backup.
At least.
But how they go about this, do they believe in Amaya? Do they think these last 2 months mean something going into next year? You know, I just don't see Bethancourt as par as a future. I really don't. And maybe if he's willing to stay with the organization and kind of be that third guy that hangs out in Iowa, and if there's an injury, he can come up and play a role, like, great. But, you know.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about this stunning Cubs comeback win in a second. But first, our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary are here to elevate your summer. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Whenever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. Wherever you're at, they have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. Shop in-store nearest you for expert advice from their staff or select from quality lines like Cresco and Floracal. Here for the summer is the Good News Tea Time Disposable Vape, bringing classic lemonade flavor. That's perfect for the golf course because we all need to stay loose on the greens. And free spirit vapes and cartridges are all new from Good News with a lush mango flavor. These vapes are perfect for tapping into your flower power. I don't like to name drop. I don't do it very often, but I do know Corey Friedman. And he picks up Mindy Segal's award-winning chocolates at Sunnyside when he goes. And you can too by visiting sunnyside.shop for brighter buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter the promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day only for 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders. We have the CHGO Cubs takeover coming up September 6th. That is Anthony Rizzo's return and the official courting of Juan Soto. Please.
I'm sorry.
And it depends on what order you want to put that. I would say it's the courting of Juan Soto, the official beginning of it, and also Rizzo's return. Make sure you get your tickets at allchgo.com. By the way, talk about some of our other exciting stuff that's going on. Joey, are you going to London? Joey's not going either, but you can. And I recommend it. The CHGO Bears crew going to London in October. Just a few full packages left here right now. So get in before it runs out, before it's taken up, before we sell out. Direct flights to London and airport transfers, hotel accommodations close to all the action. Individual event tickets are available now at truefantravel.com. Customize your own package of CHGO events. Welcome event held at our favorite London pub, Passaic Avenue. Party, boat cruise, the pep rally, and all-inclusive tailgate. Tickets to the Bears game with transportation. Head to truefantravel.com to secure your spot on the best Bears trip of the year. Limited spots available, just a couple left, so make sure you get in on that. We're going to have tailgates for every home game, but this is the event. There's also a trip in early November to Arizona where you can also check that out. That's one I don't think I can float getting away, talking the wife into flying away to London, but maybe Arizona in November. Ooh. Interesting. Make it a family trip.
Give you some time to save up a little money. Invest in a trip like that.
Maybe if Braggs can't go because that's when his other knee surgery is, maybe they need a little help over there. Get paid to go over there.
Oh,
we need to talk to our friends at True Fan Travel about going to Japan.
Well, yes, we will.
We will. Or we will. Luke's on the case.
That's what I'm saying. I like this comment from Brady. He says the Cubs are the first team since 2019 to lose a game they led by 7 or more runs and come back to win a game they trailed by 7 or more runs in the same season. I don't know if we'd mentioned that or not. I don't even know where you got that stat.
I don't like to think negatively.
You know. Well, the one they led by 7 and gave away, it has to be that game against the Padres back in April, and that was absolutely brutal. So I'm sure Pirates fans, the 10 that still care about this season that are left, are going to sleep a little restless tonight. But yeah, interesting. Since 2019, 5-year span, it's kind of wild.
Do we have a couple super chats we haven't?
I think we do have at least one super chat, right, Joey, that we haven't read yet.
1 or 2, I think. We did Matt McIntyre's. Did we do Ginger Nation?
Ginger Nation.
Unbelievable W. It has been a lot of fun to watch. Can't wait for the September 21st game. I'll be there with my family.
Nice.
Go Cubs go.
Shout out Ginger Nation.
Yeah.
Walnut 2008. What are
the
they?
Guy who has the best
$4.99?
picture. You love this guy's picture, Luke.
I can't see it.
You've mentioned it before. Anyway, for $4.99, he says, "We are so back. Credit to CHGO Cubs and Cody for believing. Also, I want robo umps yesterday. I
want
I
robo
didn't
umps
believe.
yesterday.
I stopped believing.
I almost think we should give him his $4.99 back because he doesn't know that Cody quit on the team 3 games ago and they're undefeated.
Three days ago, I quit on the team.
Did he mean to put me? Because I think I'm the only one that hasn't said the season is absolutely over. Like it's getting there, but.
Listen,
I haven't said that one yet.
It's part of 3.5% chance of making the playoffs, according to Fangraphs.
Part of the reason that I held on as long as I did was just so I could say that I was the last one who believed, but I couldn't mentally take it anymore.
I outlasted you.
I'll give you credit. You've outlasted me, but you
do you
also
really
are
believe?
kind of like.
No,
I mean not necessarily.
No.
It's your job to not emotionally care as much as I am. So
Should we talk about the pitchers? Because my thing is to always say Kyle Hendricks should never enter the 5th inning without somebody warming up. If he makes it to the 5th inning, you got to have somebody warming up. Today it just didn't matter. He didn't have it.
No.
Right out of the gate, he didn't have the command, and he was getting squeezed by what should have been a robot umpire.
Yeah.
The umpire stunk again.
It was the old
all over the place.
The old classic marquee graphic that says the umpire tendencies, and I believe this one was a hitter friendly.
Very hitter friendly.
Which is why we got 14 runs, I guess you could say.
Yeah, but 24 runs.
But he didn't have it. I saw somebody in the chat say that he's garbage.
Probably the Godfather.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was
I'm not even going to call the person out. I'm just saying garbage.
Oh, I totally just did. So sorry.
For what Kyle Hendricks has done for this franchise, don't ever call him garbage. Don't ever call him garbage. There it is, Becky. Sorry, Becky. We still love Becky. She's here for every show.
She says we're the best all the time.
Becky, my advice is Kyle Hendricks should never be described as garbage. He started Game 7 of the 2016 World Series. He's one of the best trades in Chicago Cubs history, and he's the longest tenured Cub right now at this point. He's done everything the Cubs franchise and fans have ever asked him. Is this probably the end of the line? Yes, almost certainly. Yeah. But don't forget all the good stuff because he's getting older.
Yeah.
I also I don't blame fans for being frustrated with his performance today. That's fair, right?
Yes, but garbage. I can't go there.
Well, that, but also since June, he has had better performances.
Especially if you take him out after 4.
We watched him shove
him an opener.
We watched him throw 8 innings against the Cardinals just a month and a half ago. And that offense, you look at the names in that lineup, are so much better than what he saw against against Pittsburgh today. So does it make sense? No, I'm just saying that it's not like it's been as bad as it was in April and May. And I also have to remind people that he probably wouldn't even be in the rotation if Cade Horton, Jordan Wicks, and Ben Brown weren't hurt.
Even Wisniewski. Wisniewski's also hurt. Fair.
Yes. I don't it's a very unfortunate situation and it sucks to have to watch, but the Cubs had basically kind of been all right, man, you're not getting it done. We're going to put you in the bullpen. And then more injuries happened, and they were forced to put him back in. And thankfully, he has at least kept them in some games. It hasn't been an absolute shit show like it was for the first month and a half. Sorry.
I think he's been better since he went back to the rotation. Obviously, after Wicks got hurt, he's been better. I still wouldn't say he's been great, but he's been
and I'm not.
As Cody said, it's been a pit show, very stinky under the pits.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So with Kyle, even today, he ends up giving up 6 runs in that inning, 5 runs in that inning. It was a 6-3 after. He didn't make it out of the second. I mean, he should have.
Didn't get help either.
There was that pop up that Paredes, it looked like he just didn't see, and then Swanson wasn't able to get to it behind him. That extended an inning, 2 runs scored on that one. He didn't get out of that second inning. I mean, I'm not saying had that out gets made, he goes on and throws 5 without giving up another run. I'm not saying that, but that obviously didn't help him. And I guess my question is just what what do you do with Kyle Hendricks now?
You let him finish the season because the season is over. They're not going anywhere. I keep telling you, let him just finish the season and walk off into the sunset.
I think
make him a 4-inning opener if that's what you want.
I don't think, especially with, as Cody mentioned, the amount of injuries these guys have. I think Jordan Wicks is close, but not there yet. I think Friday's his next rehab start, and he could maybe be ready to join the Cubs after that.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of starting pitching depth.
No.
So everyone that's saying
not right now, at least because of injuries.
Not right now because of the injuries, right? You named 4 guys that could have been in the rotation at this point in the year that are hurt.
So what would be the point of cutting a guy 1 month before his career with your team is
what
done?
I'm saying is, even with not all that separately, you're at a point where if you were to cut Kyle Hendricks, obviously you're going to eat the rest of that contract because no one's picking him up off waivers. Correct. So you have a lot of money you still owe him, and you just don't have really any starting pitching depth behind him. And again, it's I think, while the front office may not look at it the exact same way, this team is still trying to compete, still trying to win games, still trying to make a playoff push. I don't know that Kyle Hendricks certainly makes them better equipped to do that, but the more starting pitching depth you don't have, the harder it's going to be to get through the last month of the season, because we've seen throughout the year how injuries can impact the team. So, I'm not saying Kyle Hendricks has been good this year. He hasn't been for the most part.
No,
it's just at this point, cutting him makes it harder to do what this team wants to do over the next month, just based on what they have available outside of Kyle Hendricks. They just don't have the starting pitching depth available to fill in. Honestly.
Some people in the chat have mentioned Caleb Killian, who's been back for a while. He's not even on the injured list anymore. And if the Cubs want to, I mean, they put Hector Neris on waivers. They put Drew Smyly on waivers, and it looks like that no one claimed him. Whatever. The way they acted at the trade deadline, right? All these things goes into the fact of the Cubs are looking more towards the future. I'm not saying that Caleb Killian will come in and be better, because he has yet to prove that he can do that. I do think there's high upside with him still, but that doesn't mean results will come. It's it's the same thing I feel about Daniel Palencia, who in his first two outings since coming back up, he's had command problems, right? So it's all about how do the Cubs feel about their team and still trying to get into the playoffs, even though Fangraph says 3.5% or whatever, and most of us probably feel like the season is over. The Cubs are not, unless Kyle Hendricks is cut like you said, or whatever, which I don't think he will be, because he is who he is. There's, even if you did call up Caleb Killian, you're not going there's nothing that proves that anything will be better. There's upside. There's the reason that you would want to see him is because he's young and he's a prospect for you, and he's part of the Chris Bryant trade and all these things. But to me, they should be using Killian out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he could be more of a bullpen piece.
And, go from there. To me, it's Hendricks starts until Jordan Wicks is ready to pitch. That's where it's at for me.
I think that's another way to look at it, is if you want to use it as Hector Neris was cut just solely so that they could give this other young guy who they need to get a look at, they give him a long leash at the big league level, right? Even though obviously I think we can all agree there's probably some financial aspect of it, contract wise, that played into it. That was what they said. Even if you wanted to even if you were to cut Kyle Hendricks and try to use that, if your idea was to cut Kyle Hendricks and try to say it's to give a young guy the opportunity, blah blah blah. They don't. Again, right now they don't have anyone that is ready to come fill in that way.
Right. What's the point? You're not rushing to get 7 prospects up to save the season because you have the top 3 prospects in baseball, and they got to get here, and you got to play, and you got to win every game. Again, the season's over. You're ready to wave the white flag. You tried to put Smyly on waivers. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, we know Smyly hasn't been that bad out of the bullpen. You tried to save money. Yeah. You tried to save money because the season is over.
Yeah.
So why not let Kyle Hendricks pitch every once in a while? The games technically mean almost nothing right now. And with the days off, as somebody mentioned in the chat, he doesn't have to pitch that much more, but he leaves the game with the respect of the fan base and the organization. No, the last thing you want to do is dump on the guy and make him angry on the way out when he should be one of the most celebrated pitchers
Absolutely.
in Chicago Cubs history.
Absolutely.
You treat them
Corbs.
You treat them right on the way out. If they were to cut Kyle Hendricks, I would be furious.
I would be too.
Yeah, I think again,
and it's not because I think he's good at this point.
Yeah,
no, he's been bad.
It's all about doing the right thing.
That's right.
Like we said, he's been better over the last since he went back to the rotation. He still has a 6.75 ERA on the season. Not good. Better than what it was in like April and May. Still not very good. But with Kyle, I think it's like what I think you said it. Like once Jordan Wicks is ready to come back, there's a route where they can get him back into the rotation. Kyle can go back into the bullpen and figure it out that way, right? He doesn't have to pitch in high leverage innings and stuff like that, but a way to cover innings, long reliever type stuff. I think he got better in that role as he went on, as he got a little more acclimated to the bullpen earlier in the year. At this point, again, it's like I said, you don't have the starting pitching depth to just cut Kyle Hendricks and throw someone else in there. You really don't, especially if you yes, like I said, I'm leaning towards the season's over. I haven't said it yet, but I'm leaning that way just because it's going to be very hard for them to get to the playoffs at this point. The Cubs still want to win games, and again, just cutting out some of your depth at starting pitching position is going to make that harder to do.
And again, Cassie's saying no, Luke. Some of us didn't wave the white flag. I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying specific, like, if you want to be a hoper or a believer, that's okay. Cub however you want to cub. I'm telling you, the franchise has told you with their actions the season is over. They're not telling the players don't try, but when you put Drew Smyly on waivers to try and save a couple of bucks when he's been one of your better relievers, is one like the only lefty in the pen, they're telling you we're pretty sure we're not going to do this and we'd rather save a few bucks down. We could try and save it. Maybe we can get under the luxury tax if we do some things. They're trying anything. But they're not worried about winning every specific game if they're putting Drew Smyly on waivers. Don't believe it. That's what shows you with their actions that they know, too, that the season is likely over. So you don't have to give up, but I'm telling you the team has.
Yeah.
So why would you embarrass Kyle Hendricks on the way out? If you're not going to treat Kyle Hendricks the right way at the end of his career, who are you going to treat right on the way out? You already had it sort of end badly by having to make decisions on all the other members of the 2016 team, right or wrong, almost all of them right, but you let them go. Some had hard feelings, some cried, all of those things. None of them wanted to leave. And again, I think all of those choices were the right ones. This time you have the ability to go do right by Kyle Hendricks, let him finish the season. You're not going to make the playoffs. And if you do, sweet. He's part of it.
Yeah. No, I after this season, my expectation is that Kyle Hendricks is no longer with the Chicago Cubs. Like
Correct.
His
unless he's in the front office of some way.
But I can agree. Like it's where you're at in the season, where you're at in the standings, the odds that you make the playoffs. I mean, I can agree that like you want to give him a proper send off because of what he's meant to your organization. I can agree with that. I don't expect you to re-sign him in the offseason because of what he meant to the organization, but I can agree that they may want to do that. They may want to give him a proper goodbye instead of cutting bait and just sending him kicking him to the dirt. I don't think they would do that anyway.
I don't either. I think they've done right by him all season. I agree with Edward. Don't go the route of the Bears who cut Urlacher by email.
Yeah, by the way, that was literally Corey Wooten was on Bears After Dark last night talking about how, I think it was Phil Emery, may have been Ted Phillips, but that cutting Urlacher, and that matters. That matters with the players.
Moving forward, it
matters with the players who are currently in the locker room watching Kyle Hendricks get, depart on a bad note. It's easy to say, you know what, it doesn't, you're a team, you have to get the best results on the field. Stuff like this matters for years going forward in terms of how your organization, how your front office is viewed around the league by players, by agents, and it absolutely is a decision that may have very slight short-term benefits and I would imagine longer-term detriments.
Specifically with players that have great respect around the league. Okay,
which Kyle Hendricks is one of those guys.
All you have to do is look back at the way the Bulls dynasty ended and see afterwards how long it lasted. Like free agents were like, I've heard the Bulls don't treat their right or wrong.
Still kind of going on.
I've heard the Bulls don't treat their players right. that theme went on forever.
That's still kind of.
And still sometimes does, right or wrong. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's why when someone has as much respect as Kyle Hendricks, you do the right thing at the end.
It's
when you can, and they can.
It's all very unfortunate this year, considering how good he was last year. But
I think we all said that he should have been re-signed.
I think I would think a little bit differently if the team was securely in a playoff spot and you had some healthier arms.
100%.
I think that's the only way that I would think differently about it. But considering that you're 2 games above 500, you're 5 games back in the wild card, probably going to be 5.5 at the end of the night because the Braves just don't want to lose on days the Cubs win. And being, 8.5, 9 games back in the division, I can live with another month and a half of Kyle Hendricks.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
Not even a month and a half, like a month.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for this team to get to the playoffs. And I don't think cutting Kyle Hendricks and bringing someone else up is going to make your odds of that any better. I will also say, though, even if they had a playoff spot locked up, like you still may not even want to cut Kyle Hendricks. He could go to, the guy that in the bullpen and just pitch in blowouts or pitch in
that's what I'm saying.
There's high leverage.
There's many ways to use him the last month of the season. Godfather, I respect my elders. Certainly the godfather of this podcast, but he's wrong about this. He's wrong about this. He's like, I don't think you can embarrass a multi-millionaire. He's a person. People have feelings, no matter how much money they have. Somebody in our live YouTube chat, many people, maybe yourself, have tried to embarrass a multi-billionaire. I'm just telling you, Kyle Hendricks doesn't deserve it. Kyle Hendricks deserves the respect of this organization, and it's the best thing for this franchise moving forward to treat him right on the way out. I'm not even saying he would hold it against him. I'm just saying how it would look.
The
perception around baseball. Not a good idea to dump on the guy that's as celebrated and as nice and as all of those things to around the league to all their players.
And I think they have done right by him this season, right? Like moving him to the bullpen instead of cutting him in whatever it was, June.
Yes, agreed. They have done. They absolutely have done the right thing. And think of all the young players that are on your current roster, your current 40-man that are watching that Hendricks has given advice to, help to, mentor. Yeah. That are going to see how he's treated on the way out. Yeah. You don't think they'll remember it? They certainly will.
No, I think the Cubs have done right. Like, it wasn't embarrassing him to move him to the bullpen. It was being straight up and saying he's not getting it done. This is a way we think can help him get better results.
He was all for it. A while. He was all for it.
Yeah, he was completely all for it. And maybe I'm not saying that he was like lying. Maybe he didn't love the idea that he was. Moving to the bullpen, he accepted it because he knew he wasn't getting it done, and he wanted to help this team win and get back to the playoffs. So I think they've done right by him this season. I think he's accepted it and participated the right way, and I expect, I'm with you. And as far as I don't think that they would cut him on August 28th or 29th or whatever it is. Right? I think there's that part where they do want to give him that respect on his way out and just let him ride out the season however it has to go down, whether it's another turn in the rotation then to the bullpen or you move him to the bullpen now or whatever it is. I do think the Cubs look at it. I think they understand that how perception is too. I don't think the Cubs think of their players as robots and baseball as a bunch of the Cubs also understand that perspective as well and how perspectives can change based on the way you treat the people in your organization. And the Cubs are known as an organization that does treat its players well, for the most part.
And I'm totally okay with treating players in management as chess pieces. I am, when you can, right? This is an instance where you can do whatever you want. The season's over. It's a totally different situation if this team is a game out of the wild card right now and they have 3 young arms they have to bring up. It's a totally different conversation. This team is not going to make the playoffs. They have a month left. They have a 3.5% chance, according to Fangraphs. Just let it play out. Just let it play out and do the right thing. By the way, we will be on at 1:20 tomorrow with the CHGO Cubs podcast. So we will be doing an off-day podcast tomorrow, and we'll talk about some different things, including maybe, I've been throwing around the idea of maybe we talk about, for part of the show, the top 5 players in baseball. Who are they? Who are the top 5?
Did you like my graphic or my answers
PCA,
for the
PCA?
When we did the
as a man of
young
integrity,
players?
that's very good of you. That's
as a man of integrity, give me PCA overall.
all top 5 picks.
Speaking of PCA, we haven't talked a ton about him, but we've been talking about him a lot in this last week. Honestly, this last month. But 4 for 4 tonight or today with a walk. Could have gone. He had a chance to go 5 for 5 in that 9th inning. Kid just continues to just really ascend, man. I'm getting really excited about Pete Crow-Armstrong, and fans should get excited about Pete Crow-Armstrong, man. This is not just because the Cubs are out of it. Even though like it's 3.5% or whatever, like they are 2 games above 500. They're not 20 games under 500. And yes, they need help from the Braves and all these other teams to lose some games to maybe get in there. But they are playing games that do matter. As much as like we're saying that they're not, the Cubs are acting as they are. So I think these games are important for him, important for Amaya, important for Bush, important for, even Luis Vasquez got in there to pinch run today. You know what I mean? And a lot of those relievers too. I mentioned Palencia, but Ethan Roberts got in there, didn't necessarily do that hot today, and unfortunately came out with an ankle injury. But Porter Hodge pitched 2 really great innings at the end of the game to not give the lead back. These young guys I mentioned, and it's very important for them considering the fact that the Cubs are still technically in it and they're playing important baseball games. So
and doing well.
Yeah,
that's important to see.
It's not like last September where like they really, really, really were important, but to me it still is important. They are trying to do whatever they can to somehow, some way creep in there. So
all right, we will see you tomorrow at 1:20. Cubs win 14-10. 2 games over the 500 mark for the first time since May 25th. 6 runs in the 9th inning. Where were you for the Christian Bethancourt game and the Magic Ice Cream Cone? Thanks for watching, and fly the W.
We all silly.